Shalom Israel. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, all honor, all glory to Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem HaKadosh, that brought into the apostles and other great millstone for teachings this truth, peace and blessings to hopefully to Israel and Shalom. Yahweh is the name of the French Hebrew, by Hashem means the name, and Yahweh Shai is the name of the begotten Son, background lesson. And today we're going to go into these tensions that are continuing to build up, go into these wars and rumors of wars that we are seeing. And Yahweh Shai is stirring that pot between the nations. That's why you're seeing these continuous threats. The tension continuing to build up, which very soon is going to reach that breaking point, which is going to be World War III. So we're seeing all these things happening, which is once again the work and through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shai in order to usher in and bring about World War III, aka Armageddon. How this place will be destroyed by thermonuclear missiles, thermonuclear fire. That's what Yahweh Shai is going to, barrage this place with. Now, I have a quick article and a quick video just going to the situation at hand. As you've been seeing, North Korea doing a lot of these drills, especially shooting a lot of these missiles. You have the U.S. making threats against them as well as North Korea. So the tensions are high, man, and it's not dying down. Which should be another telltale sign. As Biden threatens North Korea with annihilation. And these are not just some simple threats that you can make against a, enemy nation. That's an act of war. You're just saying that you will destroy them. A nuclear attack by Pyongyang would result in the end of Kim Jong-un's regime. The U.S. president has warned. You had, I believe, the U.S. as well as South Korea was going to do a joint, pretty much drills. And then you had North Korea step in and do it first, showcasing their might. Pretty much saying you ain't the only one with, destructive power. So you have a lot of nations that are starting to, stand up against America. As the U.S. President Joe Biden declared on Wednesday that a North Korean nuclear attack on his country or South Korea would spell doom for Pyongyang, under a new agreement between Washington and Seoul, the U.S. would respond to such an attack with nuclear weapons. South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol added. So you have them, pretty much typing up countermeasures of what to do, So if these things happen, they pretty much attack with nuclear missiles. But as you're going to have the nations, go against, Babylon the Great. They're going to turn against the whore, especially those so-called allies that the U.S. has. A nuclear attack by North Korea against the United States or its allies or partners is unacceptable and will result in the end of whatever regime were to take such an action, Biden told reporters at the White House. And you already see Biden pretty much on his way out. Doesn't know where he's at. Sleepy Joe. Excuse me. As I said, read the bottom right here. Now, speaking alongside Biden, you declared that sustainable peace on the Korean Peninsula does not happen automatically. We can achieve peace through the superiority of overwhelming forces and not a false peace based on the goodwill of the other side. Yoon said, adding that in the event of nuclear attack from North, the U.S. and South Korea would respond swiftly, overwhelmingly, and decisively using the full force of the alliance, including the U.S. nuclear missiles. So, speaking of the main point, you're seeing threats being made. You're seeing, the gradualism that Yahweh Shai is doing to slowly bring about World War III. Because there's also still things that need to take place and happen before World War III, comes to pass. Prophecy needs to be fulfilled, especially dealing with the mark of the beast, which is another one of the major end-time signs, which I recently went into. Going into the recent technology that devils have and how they're slowly trying to get the people used, to these things in order to, usher in this beast system, to bring about the charagma, the sea-hip, Now, play this video real quick, just go into a little video of it, and we'll dive into the scriptures I got. Short lesson to the spirit. Let's dive right into it.
A nuclear attack by North Korea on the U.S. or its allies will result in the end of North Korea. And South Korea is saying that a nuclear attack will be met with American nuclear weapons, which is massive because it was previously believed that the U.S. would respond conventionally instead of just glassing the country. And this is the U.S. will dock nuclear submarines in South Korea in a new agreement called the Washington Declaration. That agreement also stating that the U.S. has to conduct occasional, very clear demonstrations of U.S. military capability. Follow to stay in the loop. Biden says that a nuclear attack by North Korea on the U.S. or its allies,
which we just read, so let's dive into the scriptures, get the points. This book of Matthew, 24th chapter, 3rd through the 8th verse, which is going to these end-time signs, the end-time prophecies that would take place and play out before our eyes, before our Lord Yahweh Shai makes his return. It said, as he sat upon the mount, all his disciples came up to him privately, saying, tell us when shall these things be, what shall be signs of thy coming of the end of the world. And when it says the end of the world, it's not speaking of the literal end of the whole entire earth, but going to an end of an age, the end of an era, the end of this devil's rulership. Verse 4, scripture going to, how the kingdom, is translated from one people to another. These devils are pretty much on their way out. And Jacob's up next. That's why scripture going to Romans 9:13. Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated. Verse 4, and Yahushua answered and said to them, take heed that any may deceive you, for many shall come in my name, saying, I'm anointed, and shall deceive many. You got to be wary of and careful of who you are listening to, who you are learning from. As you see IUIC and just the pride that they have, boasting about themselves, calling themselves the saviors. A lot of these guys are through, man. You're just got to be super careful of who you are learning from. And you should know by now who your true teachers are, which is, starting with the apostles and nails on down at Great Millstone. Those are our true teachers, the men of the Lord, the prophets, especially who we have learned from. Verse 6, and you shall hear of wars and rumors of war. So we're seeing now and taking place before our very eyes. You're seeing constant threats being made. You're seeing articles coming out. Is World War III a possibility? Is thermonuclear warfare a possibility? These are things that you are seeing. These are rumors of war, as well as these tensions that are continuing to arise between them. North Korea doing missile testing with the ICBMs. These are not just simple things that you test. Because those things are used for war, man. And guess what? Those things will be used. Coming in the last days. And you share of wars and rumors of wars. See that you may not trouble for all these things to come pass, but the end's not yet. Verse 7, for nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. You can see more riots, more protests, civil wars breaking out, race wars. People hear us say that, and they think of us like we're crazy. We're a bunch of conspiracy theorists. But when these things start happening and come to pass, as Scripture mentioned in Ezekiel 33 and 33, you'll know that a prophet has been among you, warn you of these times that we are coming into and are in. Scripture also touched on in Hebrews 10:26. You have been warned. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. Seeing physical or literal famines brewing, as well as spiritual famine. You're dealing with the famine of the word, this truth, which the Lord is going to very soon take it away. So it's important to take advantage of this grace period that we are in to gain as much as knowledge and this truth as you still can. Because very soon the Lord's going to strip it away and take his prophets off the highways and byways, the highways and hedges, and shut down his internet to where you won't be able to look up these videos anymore. And pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places, which you're seeing now. Verse 8, all these are the beginning of sorrows. So we're just in the beginning of this, man. The Lord is barely starting this up. Which is, a beautiful thing to see, because showing you we're nearing the end. Now, it's Revelation 11:14. The second world is past, and behold, the third world cometh quickly. So very soon we're going to enter that third world woe. That third world woe. Little tongue twister, but that's what it is. Because when you go into the word, or the definition of the word woe, it goes into desolation, destruction, despair. And the second terror is past, but look, the third terror is coming quickly, which one is going to be that third world war, which is coming as we speak. Now, this is Jeremiah 50:9. You will have these nations, buck up against America, aka Babylon the Great. For lo, raising cause to come up against Babylon, an assembly of great nations from the north country. They shall set themselves in array against her. From thence she shall be taken, and the arrows shall be as a mighty expert men, none shall return in vain. So you can have those arrows, which are not literal arrows, because what regular bow and arrow can be shot from one end of the earth unto the other? As Scripture also mentioned in 2nd Ezra. So showing you that speaking of no regular bow and arrow. But this right here, it says, from that shall she be taken, the arrows shall be as a mighty expert men, none shall return in vain. So you're going to have those thermonuclear missiles hit their mark. You're not going to collide into each other, explode in the air, land in the ocean and miss their target. Everything's going to hit the mark, man. And Yahweh is going to be the one directing it. We can get the 14th verse. That says, we can get the 13th verse. Because of the wrath of Yahweh Shemashai shall not be inhabited, but it shall be wholly desolate. Everyone that goeth by Babylon shall be astonished, and hiss at all her plagues. Put yourselves in array against Babylon round about. All you that bend the bow, shoot at her, spare no arrows. For she has sinned against Yahweh Shemashai. Shout against her round about. She hath given her hand. Her foundations are fallen. Her walls are thrown down. For it is the vengeance of Yahweh Shemel Shai, take vengeance upon her as she had done, do it unto her. So showing you speaking of Babylon the Great, aka America, and the destruction, the great destruction that's coming to this place, and how it will never be inhabited again, pushing back to Isaiah the 13th chapter, which we'll get after this. Now, there's another scripture I want to start off with the 24th verse and 25th verse, one of my favorite right here. Showing you his war to be completely different, man, as was mentioned in Isaiah 95. You know, how it'll be by the way of fire, or fuel and flaming fire. Verse 24. I have laid a snare for thee, and thou art also taken, O Babylon, and thou wast not aware, thou art found and also caught, because thou hast striven against Yahweh Shemel Shai, as scripture mentioned in the book of Obadiah, and a few of the scriptures go into how the pride is going to be brought down. The pride of the devil is going to be brought down. It's scripture mentioned in how he shall build, but the Lord shall throw down, so nothing you do will save you, man. Verse 25, the Yahweh Shemel Shai had opened his armory. What do you think this is speaking of? One more time. Yahweh Shemel Shai has opened his armory and had brought forth his indignation, brought forth the weapons of his indignation, for this is the work of the Lord, God of hosts, or power of hosts, in the land of the Chaldeans. And the armory is going to be open, and that's what Yahweh Shemel Shai is going to barrage Babylon the Great with thermonuclear fire. Now, this book of Joel 3:9-13, as I mentioned, near the beginning of the lesson, Yahweh Shemel Shai stirring that pot. Which all we really need to get is, we can get the full thing. As I proclaim you something they didn't tell us, prepare war, wake the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up, go into these other nations, starting to, prepare to fight, preparing to go to war. So you see them doing these drills, these missile testings. Verse 10, be your plowshares into swords, and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. So you have the nations, once again, preparing to fight, preparing to war, because those plowshares and all these different things are, things made for, farming and all that. And now they're beating them to weapons of war to fight. Verse 11, assemble yourselves and come all you heathen, gather yourselves together round about thither, cause that mighty ones to come down, O Lord. Let the heathen be awakened, come to the valley of Yahweh Shaphat, for there also to judge all the heathen round about. Put you in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come get you down, for the press is full, and the flats, like the fats overflow, for the wickedness is great, so it's ready for the picking and ready to be destroyed. So as you mentioned, I think Isaiah 14, how the Lord has a long time holding his peace. And Yahweh Shemel sick of this place, man. As well as we. 2 Peter 3 is why we are, sighing and crying to Yahweh Shemel Shai to deliver us, to get us out of here. To destroy this place, man. Because it's not but his wickedness and confusion constantly being pushed on a day-to-day basis. And we're surrounded by this stuff, man. And if you don't get sick and tired by these things, if you don't hate it here, there is a severe problem that you need to look at within yourself, You mentioned in Romans 12:12, or it's like 12:2, as well as believe the 1 John, going to be not conformed to this world. Now the 2 Peter 3:10, that's but the day of the Lord comes as a thief in the night. Come as a thief unto those that are not watching, those that are not paying attention to the prophecies and things that are going on. Those jakes that want to continue to play around, disregard the warnings, not take these things serious. The Lord's come as a thief and night unto you, unexpected. But those that are watching, of course, we don't know the exact date, the exact hour our Lord will return, but we're given signs to measure the times that we are in. We're going to be, keeping our eyes single and focusing, especially, as prophets, as teachers, focus on His word, walking through the Spirit. Now, 2 Peter 3:10, but the day of the Lord comes a thief in the night, which you just read, going to, the Lord comes a thief in the night unto those that are not watching. Which again, we're just going to mention Revelation, the 16th chapter, I think the 18th verse, going to, Lord comes a thief in the night, and blessed be, those that watch it. But for paraphrasing. In which the heavens shall pass away with great noise, which go into the explosions from those missiles, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. Now, what type of weapons can emit that type of heat? When you look back into Hiroshima, look at the damage that caused. People's shadows were casting on walls. Now, imagine the advancements that these devils have made, Now, it says, shall pass away with great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also, and the works that therein shall be burned up. So this place will be completely turned to rubble, man, dust. Go with these last two scriptures, Isaiah 13. Let's get the 9th verse. And it said, behold, the day of the Lord cometh, cruel both wrath and fierce anger, to lay the land desolate, and he shall destroy the sinners thereof out of it. Verse 10, main point, for the stars of heaven and constellations, they shall not give the light, the sun shall be darkened and is going forth, and the moon shall not cause their light to shine, because you're going to have those, just smoke, those mushroom clouds completely just covering the sky, man. We get the 11th verse, and I'll punish the world for their evil, and the wicked for their iniquity, and I'll cause the arrogance of the proud to cease, and I'll lay low the haughtiness of the terrible. I just mentioned that Yahweh Shema shines and bring the pride down. As well as touching on Isaiah 47, come sit in the dust, O daughter of Babylon. They were once on that pedestal, but guess what? They'll be sitting in the dust. The lowest of the low, man. We can get a few more, which I just main ones want to get how the place never been inhabited. But let's get 13th verse. Therefore I will shake the heavens and the earth shall remove out of her place, which is going to be all the explosions that take place. It's going to be like a gigantic earthquake, man. The scripture also touch on go into how you shall be as a drunkard man, or how the earth shall shake as a drunkard man. As someone that's drunk, they're stumbling, they can't stand still. Therefore I'll shake the heavens and the earth shall remove out of her place in the wrath of the Lord of hosts and the day of his fierce anger. Let's jump all the way down. Let's get verse 19. Yeah. In Babylon, the glory of the kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees, excellency shall be as when the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. And how did the Lord do that? By the way of fire and brimstone. But this time it's going to be thermonuclear missiles. And it shall never be inhabited, neither shall be dwelt in from generation to generation. So showing you Babylon, aka America, will not be inhabited ever again. And their houses are, so 20. Neither shall the Arabian pitch tent there, neither shall the shepherds make their fold there, but the wild beasts of the field shall lie there. But the wild beasts of the desert shall lie there, and their houses shall be full of doleful creatures, and owls shall dwell there. The satyrs shall dance there, and the wild beasts of the island shall cry in the desolate houses, and dragons in the pleasant palaces. And her time is near to come, and her days shall not be prolonged. Showing you we're nearing the end, as you're consistently seeing the build-up between the nations, the tensions, the confrontation, which is once again the work and through the spirit power of Yahweh Shema Shai. That these things are happening. And if you don't repent, take heed, guess what? When you see the elect being beamed up, being delivered into those vehicles, those chariots, and the only thing come back from you is thermonuclear missiles, man, that'd be a scary and terrifying feeling, man. You do not want that. Now, let's shut this down with Habakkuk 2 and 3. Lord's final lesson. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, and we're in those appointed times. Now let's get the NLT version. The vision is for a future time. It's dealing with these prophecies. And guess what? We're in these times, man. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but the end shall speak and not lie, though it tarry, wait for it, because it surely come. It will not tarry, meaning it will not delay. These things will happen and will come to pass, man. So, once again, pretty much the main point already. As you were seeing the build-up between the nations, the tension that Yahweh Shema Shai is building between the nations, stirring the pot, to usher in and bring about World War III. So the Lord was edified. I do want to give all praises, all honor, all glory to Yahweh Shema Shai, B'Shem Kakadash, the born to the apostles, and those great millstone for teaching us His truth, peace, and blessings to the whole elect of Israel. And Shalom, see you next one, Lord willing.